Dustin Phúc Nguyễn nailed his fame in 2012 since his role as a video jockey, or VJ, of MTV, one of the most prestigious music channels, adored by young music enthusiasts worldwide.
Các bạn đã sẵn sàng để trải nghiệm Singapore theo cách riêng của mình chưa?
The former MTV's VJ Dustin Phúc Nguyễn decided to establish his own YouTube channel, Dustin on the Go, in 2016, offering talk shows with celebrities on different topics, such as karaoke with Dustin,
Vì anh ghen mà Việt Nam yêu thôi mà.
and most recently, Bar Stories, in which Dustin is the host/bartender. And what's more to expect from Dustin in this edition of Talk Vietnam?
Hello, Talk Vietnam. My name is Dustin Phúc Nguyễn, and today I am at the Book Street of Ho Chi Minh City, and I'm trying to do an experience. I'm gonna ask random people about what they think about, LGBT, homosexual, and how do they look. So let's start with any person, okay? Let's come with me. Bạn nghĩ gì về những người đồng tính?
Khi mà mình sinh ra thì đâu phải nhất thiết là mình phải sống theo những cái giới tính mà xã hội đã đặt ra đâu.
Là một cái giới tính thứ ba mà mình cần tôn trọng, mình không nên kỳ thị.
Do they have any differences at the outlook, the gesture, behavior?
No, definitely not.
Hình dáng đi đứng cũng như cái cách ăn nói nó có khác với những người bình thường.
Một số người đồng tính thì có vẻ ngoài thì kiểu như hơi dị dị chút.
They like other people.
Phần đông á, thì vẫn bình thường như là những người bình thường của mình thôi.
Vậy thì theo bạn, mình là một người đồng tính hay dị tính?
Hetero.
Dị tính thôi.
Homosexual. Đồng tính.
Nếu mình nói mình là một người đồng tính thì bạn có tin không?
Tin.
Có lẽ tôi không tin.
I am homosexual.
Wow.
Wow. Then you're right.
Yes.
I was wrong.
You're wrong. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong.
Yeah.
We embrace the differences.
Hello and welcome to Talk Vietnam, where you can find inspiring stories that capture the spirit of the country. From the video, it seemed that there has been a positive shift in how people view the LGBT community here in Vietnam. This is because over the last decade, the state has made significant steps to protect the LGBT rights and equality. Just about 10 years ago, homosexuality wasn't widely accepted here in Vietnam. There was stigma, there was discrimination against LGBT people because of their sexual orientation and gender identity. But now, things have changed, or have they not? Some might ask. That's why we choose LGBT embracing differences as a main theme of this episode on Talk Vietnam. We'll take a look how Vietnam is making progress in terms of cracking down on homophobia and upholding the rights of LGBT community. But first, let's welcome our first guest of the show today, Dustin Phúc Nguyễn.
Hi.
Hi, Dustin. Thank you so much for being here with us on Talk Vietnam. Because I know you're very selective when it comes to talk show appearances.
Yes, you read the news.
I read the news. So, why Talk Vietnam? I know this is one of the most prestigious talk show on TV, but why? Why Talk Vietnam?
Because it has Vietnam in it. I mean, VTV, Vietnam television, it's my honor to be here.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Talk Vietnam, it's in English as well. And I know there's a wide range of audience, not just Vietnamese people, but a lot of foreigners who stays in Vietnam. And then this is a good chance for me to spread, the good.
Okay. And why did you decide to come out on national television?
Oh.
That's a bold move.
Coming out to me, it's not like a special event.
Yeah.
I came out every day. I came out like recently to each and every person that I, first met.
Okay.
So it's just like another coming out story. But my parents would think that's a big deal.
Okay.
Yeah, if they're watching this right now, they might, think, oh my God, what is he doing?
Why he's coming out on TV? Okay. But do you think this is going to change the point of view of your fans, especially those from non-LGBT community?
From non-LGBT community? No, I don't think so.
Okay.
They know.
They know.
They do it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't speak loudly that I'm gay or I'm, homosexual or something. But eventually people know because they've been following me like years. So it's subtly.
Okay.
I've done, a lot of work with the LGBT community.
Okay.
Yes, on and off media. So I don't think they will have any change in, attitude or something.
Because you mentioned you come out every day.
Yes.
You show your pride every day.
Yes.
So apart from that, can you share with us some of the activities that you've done to advocate the LGBT rights, the LGBT equality in Vietnam?
So recently I have a new talk show. It's a talk show about blind dating.
Blind
it's
dating.
called Love is Blind. It's on my YouTube channel, Dustin on the Go.
Yeah.
So this is a big project of me and Richard, my partner. And we are doing it with the hope of, bringing people together for a social exercise.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if you are straight, gay, lesbian, transgender, it doesn't matter. Everybody can join. At least 18 years old.
Trên trần gian mấy ai cho tình yêu mà buồn phí hoài, hãy học trò đi trước khi nhận lại hết tình yêu như ý thao.
Love is Blind là một chương trình hẹn hò được thiết kế bởi Dustin on the Go, mong muốn đem đến cho bạn một trải nghiệm hẹn hò đúng nghĩa, một cuộc đối thoại đặc biệt mà bạn không biết mặt đối phương.
Love is Blind is a brand new show created and produced by Dustin Phúc Nguyễn. Love is Blind is for everyone,
Welcome to
regardless
Love
of
is
sex,
Blind.
age, religion, or language. All are
Điều
welcome.
đầu tiên,
With the advice from special gurus of
Xin chào,
psychologists,
chị Tô Nha.
stylists,
Xin chào Giang cô.
and experts. The show aims to create a social exercise for those who want to experience dating as a healthy playground.
Move, make a move. 3.
Now, will these two have a chance to be together?
Ok, trở về, lùi về chỗ cũ, lùi về chỗ cũ.
Thank you. Giang có nghĩ là mình sẽ có thể tiến đến hôn nhân với một người cùng với giới tính của mình không?
Có, nếu như mà mình thực sự có tình cảm với nhau, I'm open, why not?
Công khai giới tính với gia đình.
Nên công khai giới tính với gia đình, open với những người thân của mình hơn, để cho gia đình hiểu mình hơn.
Giang nói vậy thì có nghĩa là Giang đã come out với gia đình chưa?
Chưa.
Có thể bạn sẽ tìm được một tâm hồn đồng điệu. Có thể bạn sẽ thay đổi những định kiến của bản thân. Bạn sẽ là người quyết định. Sau tất cả, hai bạn có muốn nhìn thấy nhau không? Các bạn hãy đứng lên.
The two characters, Giang Coco and Hân Phạm, brought a sweet, happy atmosphere to the very first episode of the series. The show conveys a hidden message. If you dare to live with your true self, you will find a surprising happiness.
Well, I myself have seen some of the episodes of Love is Blind by Dustin. And what I like the most about the show is it is more than just a dating show. It is a show for self-improvement, self-discovery through sessions with love gurus. And speaking of gurus, also here with me today is Dr. John Blandford from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. A while ago, John has come out as a gay man living with HIV. Okay, John, thank you so much for joining us today.
After learning he was infected with HIV, Dr. John Blandford decided to work at the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC. He then moved to work in Vietnam in 2016 and has promoted the campaign K equals K, không phát hiện, không lây truyền, or undetectable equals untransmittable in the country. The campaign, lasting from May to August 2019, is aimed to support changes in HIV care and reduce stigma through viral load monitoring by taking antiretroviral or ARV drugs. The message K equals K has been endorsed by nearly 800 medical organizations in nearly 100 nations.
So our first question, why did you decide to come out as a positive man? Because some of my gay friends share with me to come out as a positive person is like a second come out to them.
So I've been living as a gay man since I was 22. I came out to myself, I came out to my friends and my family over the course of a year or so. And soon after that I learned that I was HIV positive. So this is more than 3 decades ago. I don't think of this as actually a big coming out now. This is just my life. And I think that's how people should act about it. I think in my work, I have an opportunity where I'm working both in public health, focusing very heavily on the HIV response here in Vietnam and how CDC can help to support that through PEPFAR. And there's no reason for me not to be able to model my own life as an example that life goes on. You can be happy as a gay man, as an HIV positive gay man, and with treatment, life is normal.
What it's like to be gay and living with HIV in Vietnam?
So I found nothing but acceptance. I came here with my husband, my partner of 24 years. So it was clear that we were going to be out and open when we made the decision to move to Vietnam. I found nothing but acceptance, and that's true not just in Ho Chi Minh City or in Hanoi, but in all the rural provinces I visited. There's more curiosity and interest, but there's real true openness. What I've observed among the LGBT in Vietnam is there is actually real stigma. There's stigma that's felt, stigma that's imposed upon the LGBT here, but often as much it's also the self-stigma. That stigma about being LGBT keeps people from interacting honestly with their own family and friends and limits their own lives. And I would argue from my professional role, it actually negatively impacts our health.
And can you share with us some activities that you have done in an attempt to remove stigma and correct misconceptions about people living with HIV?
One of the things that's been amazing about this particular moment in the HIV response is that one of the challenges of living with HIV, one of the biggest sources of stigma, is the fact that once you were infected, once you got your diagnosis, you were perceived as a risk to other people. We're in a moment now in the HIV response where if you take your drugs every day, you get tested, you get diagnosed, you take your drugs every day, within a year, you don't have to worry about the condoms for prevention of HIV. You cannot transmit the virus.
Yeah, because you're undetectable.
So you're undetectable, and when you're undetectable, you cannot transmit the virus. So this is the basis for the U equals U, undetectable equals untransmittable movement globally, which in Vietnam is K equals K. But I think that's a transformative moment, and we felt that transformation in the community. We feel it as public health officials in the HIV response. I feel it personally in my own life.
Dustin, how would you react if one of your friends come out to you as a positive man or woman?
If you were to ask me 5 years ago, I would freak out, yes, to be honest, right? Because I didn't have enough information, right? But thanks to my job, I've been working with USAID, PEPFAR, and PATH in Vietnam. They provided me a lot of information, and I felt more confident if my friends come to me. Coming out as a positive person, that would be fine. Because right now I am ready, fully ready to have the reaction, the right reaction. Living with HIV, it's not a problem anymore.
For those who are HIV negative now in Vietnam, we have access to free pre-exposure prophylaxis or PrEP, so that you can use the same drugs to protect yourself from ever getting infected in the first place. So I think that's a real opportunity to take away that barrier, that stigma about HIV within the LGBT community when people go in to get tested, and if you're positive, you get on treatment. If you're negative, you can get on PrEP, and you're all in this together, doing the right thing about preventing HIV, and I think we can get past that stigma within the community.
And what would be your first-hand advice to people who are living with HIV in Vietnam, especially those from LGBT community?
Whether we're positive or negative, I think it's helpful to live our lives openly. If people have issues with it, that's their problem. It's not my problem. And we move forward and live positively and happily, and that we don't let the stigma divide us as a community, because I think there is much greater acceptance. What is really difficult for me is to watch when a gay or bisexual man or transgender person tests positive for HIV and then goes back into the second closet, which is the closet about their HIV status, and disengages from their friends or disengages from the community, which is their prime source of support. So we really want to get away from that HIV stigma within the community, and in the same way embrace the openness that we feel when we come out as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender.
What are some challenges to break down the healthcare barriers for LGBT community here in Vietnam?
I think when in the notion of stigma, there's a stigma that comes from other people, and I think that is actually an authentic experience among LGBT. When they go into healthcare facilities, there's a burden then to actually be honest about yourself. So that's a stigma posed from the outside, and then there's also the self-stigma. You go into a facility and you look around for signs of whether this looks friendly or not. And so we're really working within PEPFAR, within CDC, with the government, with healthcare workers, with LGBT community organizations, with international NGOs to address the stigma that people experience in the clinics, because it keeps people from accessing services that they need, from getting on treatment, from getting on PrEP, from being diagnosed for other STIs, because they're afraid of going into that facility. So we need to deal with that. We need to deal with it in public facilities, but then we also need to recognize this growing opportunity for private, CBO-supported healthcare facilities that are specifically tailored to different communities. They give an alternative so that we have both the public facilities and we have private facilities that can really meet different needs within the LGBT community.
Dustin, as a gay man, have you ever faced any healthcare barriers here in Vietnam?
No.
Oh, you're lucky.
Honestly, I lived in the States for 5 years, and then I came back here. I went to test it in Pasteur. Really, I don't have any difficulty. Eventually, people will not judge if you don't feel unconfident. First, you have to feel confident.
No.
Straight to the point. Ask what you want. Then people would really concentrate on the situation, but not, about being gay or worrying about your health status. So you have to be confident first.
Despite the countries making progress in terms of LGBT rights, fears of social stigma and discriminations in Vietnam have often exposed LGBT individuals to serious health risks. But now, LGBT-friendly clinics like the one in the following story have made life easier for LGBT community. And their motto is, no matter who you are, no matter how you like to live your life, you will not be judged at the Pride Health Clinic.
More private healthcare clinics have been opened to provide healthcare services for the LGBT community in Vietnam. Pride Health in Ho Chi Minh City is one of them. It provides services for both Vietnamese people and foreigners working and living in Vietnam. The clinic offers an open and friendly space where LGBT people are not made to feel inferior about their gender preferences.
Nhân viên rất là tận tâm và gọi là nhân viên cũng là người làm trong LGBT, nên là họ biết cái suy nghĩ của họ như thế nào và họ sẽ tập trung vào đó, và cái thái độ của họ rất là cởi mở, rất là vui vẻ. Họ đối xử với nhau giống như là bạn bè thân thiết hoặc là một gia đình thật sự, nên là họ không có mặc cảm.
One of the main focuses of the clinic is to support LGBT people protecting themselves from HIV infection through pre-exposure prophylaxis or PrEP measures. Recently, it received an initial batch of PrEP medicines supported by the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention. The medicines are provided free and available for 200 people, taking one pill daily within 5 months.
As we know, within the LGBT community are at very high risk for acquiring HIV. PrEP, pre-exposure prophylaxis for those persons who are not infected with HIV, those who are HIV negative, is the most effective prevention intervention we have for those persons. It's important to have it available in a variety of settings. So in public settings, in universities, hospitals, but also it's very important to have it set in private community settings. Places that people will feel comfortable, they'll feel that they own the space, that this is a place that's welcoming to them.
More than a clinic providing physical healthcare services, Pride Health is also a place for LGBT people to share their mental health concerns.
Some people who happen to struggle with their sexuality, they can talk to our staff. We can find a way to help them. But we want more that the community come together, particular professional community, doctor, nurses, who can work with us and help more LGBT.
The clinic organized live streaming activities on its fan page to provide necessary information on healthcare for LGBT people.
So a recent survey has shown that Vietnamese young people are coming out at early age and in a more welcoming environment. This is quite interesting because 5 or 7 years ago, the coming out thing is considered something like a hard silence to break. So why do we see such a positive shift now?
I think among the LGBT, what I've observed in Vietnam is what I've observed elsewhere in the world, is that the progress that the previous generations have made, the next generation sees the world from a higher perspective. So I'm seeing this among the younger generations in Vietnam, just the optimism, the feeling that they can completely integrate their lives fully, embrace their identity, their gender identity, their sexual identity. And I think that confidence spreads, and I think it spreads to society. People want to be receptive, they want to be accepting. We have to give people, those non-LGBT, time to understand. I think generally their hearts are in the right place. My experience over my lifetime in different countries has been that societies do change. People tend towards greater and greater acceptance, and I think we're seeing a lot of that happening rapidly in Vietnam, and it's exciting to be here and observe it.
Yeah. And Justin?
Yeah, I think it's mainly thanks to social media. You know, well, in Vietnam, almost everyone, 95% of the population has access to social media. We can say whatever we want. We can watch whatever we want. So we get a sort of the worldwide culture and the progress of coming out stories. Even we have Netflix to watch. So I think it's normal to say that the Vietnamese young generations, it's coming out at an earlier age. It's normal.
So Dustin, what surprised you the most when you first came out? I know you came out when you were 15.
I thought that my mom would be more loving, and then I thought coming out would, like in the movie, people would hug their children and say it's okay. I knew it. Thanks for speaking out, but no. She was like crying, and she would say, I hope you would change. It was very dramatic. It's not what I hoped for. So I was surprised. So that's a test. If she was very good about her reaction, then I would tell my dad eventually, but she was not very in a good shape. So I decided this is my last time of coming out one-on-one to my family member.
What about you, John? When you first came out, how old were you?
I was 22, so I was in my last year of university. And I think my experience was I took the easy route. I came out first to a trusted professor, and then came out to my the housemates I was living with at university, and then that went so well that then I started coming out to bigger and bigger circles of friends. I waited before I started talking to my family. That took another couple of years, and so I was probably less courageous than you were. Yes. In your life, and
it was very brave.
And it takes time, but my family, it was well worth the investment, right? So that it actually takes, you have to allow your own family to take some time to process the news that may have taken you 15 or 20 or 30 years to come to in your own life, to that acceptance of your own identity.
What surprised you because it goes so smooth?
I think what surprised me was it went smoothly. I was fearful of losing lots of friendships. And what I found out is that when I came out, the friendships that were real friendships just got stronger. They have been lifelong. And these are my closest friends that I'll disclose to first. We're all straight, all heterosexual. And this was a very different time in the United States.
Have you ever faced any negative reactions when you come out?
Yes, you have to overcome your own stigma around your identity and get beyond that. And so you can really feel like you own this. And if a negative reaction comes, that's not my problem, it's their problem, and I'll deal with it.
And Dustin, any negative reaction?
My mom was the only one. In my philosophy, I think, okay, if anything happens, I would like to say to my family first. But unfortunately, my family was the one that was not prepared, mentally. So if I get to change the past, I would not come out to my family first. I would do that with my friends at an early age. Like at 15, I would probably coming out to my friends first. Maybe they will give me more advices to choose whether to come out to your family or not.
I might disagree.
You might
I think in most cases, the timing of it, but I think if the family is important, it's worth making the investment because it's a lifelong investment. And I know...
I would agree, John, because I feel like family, they are willing to accept you more.
It doesn't always go smoothly with family. But I look back on the last 35 years and think, what if I had not come out to my family, what I would have missed? And when I met the man who I fell in love with 24 years ago, I fell in love in part because he also, like me, came from a large family. So we invested that, we decided we were going to be open with our families, and then we had to work through, it took some time, it took some years before there was full acceptance, but now we're both fully integrated into each other's families. Everybody has to make that decision on their own, but I think we're protecting our families or protecting ourselves, but we also miss out on things. And I can see in my life in Vietnam, even though I'm not Vietnamese, I can see how important, just how central the family is to Vietnamese culture and how important that is. And this is when we come out to our families, we want to be honest and live our lives with integrity and share our lives fully with the people who are most important.
As I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the show, Vietnam has seen a radical change in LGBT rights, and one of which is in November 2015, Vietnam made a breakthrough by recognizing the transgender people and allowing sex changes on legal documents. What are your views on the trans community here in Vietnam, Dustin?
Oh, I've had a lot of trans acquaintances, colleagues, and this is even a better news. It's amazing. They will have more, benefits, right? They will live as what they are looking outside and on the paper. So that's good news. I'm very happy for that. Yes.
And John?
When I came out 30 years ago, it was all focused on sexual identity, sexual orientation, and to see the transgender community emerge and people to embrace that same sort of confidence to live their lives openly. It's wonderful, again, something that I wouldn't have dreamt of when I was 22, and I'm learning from the generations that come behind me about what gender identity means. It shows that we can still learn and we have a long way to go, whatever country we come from, whatever culture we're from.
Những năm gần đây á, thì cộng đồng LGBT hoạt động mạnh mẽ hơn, thì kéo theo đó là những cái ngành nghệ thuật hoặc là những cái ngành nghề gì đó liên quan tới cái biểu diễn về làm đẹp á, thì nó cũng được đẩy mạnh nhiều hơn. Thì drag queen là một trong những cái số đó và đang du nhập càng ngày càng mạnh mẽ, được các bạn trẻ càng ngày càng đón nhận nhiều hơn.
Drag, D-R-A-G, abbreviation of dressed resembling a girl, from a common theater practice in which male actors wore dresses to play female parts, has now become an entertainment and art form. It has exploded in the world and just entered the Vietnamese performing scene since the 1990s.
trên thế giới thì hiện nay vẫn có những cái drag queen là nữ make up cũng đậm như thế này, làm ăn mà cũng gọi là hơi lố lố như thế này, vẫn diễn lip sync. Và cũng có nam có bạn gái này kia. Hiện tại là ngoài kia có một bạn nam đang có bạn gái đi theo luôn, là họ vẫn diễn drag queen như bình thường. Drag queen là một cái môn nghệ thuật mà nó giống như là diễn viên sân khấu vậy đó, nó có thể thay đổi hình ảnh rất là đa dạng. Nó sẽ dành cho những cái bạn mà thích tự biến hóa hơn là sẽ có một cái đạo diễn nào đó giao một cái vai gì đó cho bạn.
For drag queens, drag is their career and also their passion for an art form of makeup, dancing and performing. More than that, drag offers opportunities for drag queens, especially LGBT people, to prove their talents and that they can contribute to the society.
Mình được mọi người biết tới nhiều hơn. Mình nghĩ là vậy. Mình được mọi người ủng hộ nhiều hơn. Thậm chí bây giờ là có thể mình lên sân khấu là mọi người đã biết mình là ai rồi.
Mình phải làm cái gì đó để mà mình được tiếp tục làm cái nghề này, và mình phải tiếp tục cập nhật cho khán giả biết là trên thế giới có cái nghề này, và đây sẽ là một cái nghề có thể mang lại cái nguồn lợi du lịch chẳng hạn.
Mình cảm thấy là mình sao thì mình cứ sống vậy, không có cần quan tâm người khác nói gì. Đó, miễn sao là mình có thể lo cho cuộc sống của mình, lo cho gia đình và mình sống tốt với xã hội là được.
Last Monday, the Pride Month, is the annual celebration of the LGBT community. So what have you done to promote the inclusivity during the Pride Month in Vietnam?
So this is actually very important. Pride year, because this marks the 50th anniversary of actually the Stonewall uprising, which took hold and eventually took hold globally, which we came back each year to celebrate the day. To celebrate the day where we stood up and said we want to be visible, we want to be part of society. We tried to recognize the month both from a understanding around LGBT pride. We also use this as a month to focus on LGBT health and encourage HIV testing. And so I think all these come together, that we need to think about pride broadly, to be open in the community, to celebrate. We want to share that for ourselves and for the world around us.
And Dustin?
To me, every month is a colorful month because I am working on Love is Blind. It's like a house for everyone to come in. We see like every gender, every sexual orientation coming in every episode. It's already a Pride year for me.
In May, schools across England have received letters opposing the teaching of sex education, relationships and LGBT equality. And some protesters say it's not about gay, lesbian rights and equality. They want to convert you. They want to convert you morality, and that's just wrong. What do you think about this, John?
I think what we've learned is that trying to mask your identity or having society try to keep you from recognizing your identity is not helpful. It's not helpful for your own life, for your relationships, for your families. And we know from a public health perspective that it's not good for health. It keeps people from accessing services they need. It puts them at higher risk. And so that I think we really need to be honest in embracing and allow people to embrace, understand their gender and sexual identities, and make sure that we have facilities and schools and healthcare facilities that are welcoming wherever you are on the gender or sexual identity spectrum.
I was taught that discrimination can happen within your community. So discrimination or opposition could always happen anytime, anywhere. And I think it's normal to have people who protest about bringing LGBT education into the schools. But I think it's normal. Yeah.
In 2015, Vietnam lifted the ban on same-sex marriage and was praised as a leader on gay rights in Southeast Asia. However, during that time, some Vietnamese parents, they share that if gay marriage being accepted widely in the society, that would mean it encouraged their children to be gay. What do you think about this?
Well, it's just like saying gay or being homosexual is contagious, but it's not true. We always have to work hard. As a media person, I have to always educate people that this is not a disease, this is not contagious. It's not what we decide, not what we choose. We're born with that. So it's an ongoing fight.
John, what do you think about, what's your views on this?
I can say that when same-sex marriage was made fully legal in the United States in 2013, what surprised me is how normal it became so quickly. After we fought for years and years over this issue, and once it was done, it actually became quite easy. It became non-controversial right away, but I think it helped people to understand that LGBT seek the same lives, the same family that their parents did, which is they want a lifelong bond with someone, and they want to be able to celebrate that and institutionalize it. And I think once people saw that gay marriage made lots of sense to heterosexuals, because they realized that people were trying to get into it. They weren't trying to destroy the institution of marriage. In fact, they were trying to embrace it and take part in it.
What do you hope to see more in the future of LGBT rights in Vietnam, John?
I think just the continuing openness, the growing optimism that I'm seeing in the newest generations. I think that it's infectious and in a good way, that I think they will bring a new openness to society. So I'm very optimistic. You see this every day. This is a country of youth. It's a country of optimism. And it's a country where families are central. And I think all that comes together around the LGBT issues as we're going forward.
And Dustin, what do you hope to see in the future of LGBT community here?
I would think that the LGBT community in Vietnam, we have a lot of opportunity to rise. But the only thing that I'm concerning is discrimination within the community. I think just love people, love your community, and do not hide yourself. We are stronger than we think we are. Yeah.
Vietnam's LGBT scene is becoming more open, outspoken, and shows progressiveness. Of course, moving towards a complete fairness and equality will take time. However, we believe that equality will start the moment all of us embrace the differences in others. We are born, we pay taxes, we die. And living true to yourself and embrace the diversities in others should be somewhere in that timeline. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time on Talk Vietnam for more stories to be told and for more voices to be heard.
Tôi là thế giới thứ ba và tôi có quyền được hưởng tất cả các quyền lợi của giống như những người bình thường khác.
We're positive or negative. I think it's helpful to live our lives openly. If people have issues with it, that's their problem. It's not my problem.
Mình sao thì mình cứ sống vậy, miễn sao là mình có thể lo cho cuộc sống của mình, lo cho gia đình và mình sống tốt với xã hội là được.
You have to allow your own family to take some time to process.
By loving them, embracing their existence, you basically can mobilize a lot of energy and resources from the LGBT people.
Đó cũng là một cái động lực để mà sống với đam mê của chính mình.
Being gay or being straight doesn't matter. You be treated as a human. They're just like us, you, me, yeah.
Everyone else.
Yes.
Yeah.